Hello guys, welcome to China Xinhua News live streaming. I'm Guowen with Xinhua News Agency based in Jerusalem. I'm standing in front of one of the most infamous man-made structures in the world. The Israelis call it the separation fence or the security fence, while the Palestinians call it the separation wall or the apartheid wall. In some places, this wall is up to 8 meters high, like in here. And it consists of several parts. For example, here, this is based on the concrete wall, the barbed wires, the razor wires. There are watchtowers and buffer zone. We are now close to a checkpoint named Qalandia. It is one of the busiest checkpoints standing between Israeli borders and Palestinian borders. According to United Nations Relief and Work Agency, this wall is about 710 kilometers, and in some places it is as high as 8 meters. If you have no idea how long or how wide this wall or how high this wall is, let me tell you something about the Berlin Wall, one of the other infamous separation walls in history. The Berlin Wall used to be 155 kilometers long and 3.6 meters high. This means that this separation wall is about 5 times the length of the Berlin Wall and 2 times and twice the height of it. Now please follow the camera to go through the Qalandia checkpoint and into the Palestinian territory to see what life is like on the other side of the wall. As we can see, the traffic here is very busy, and it's almost as busy as in every hour during the day. The music we're hearing right now is the prayer music the Muslims are playing. The Israelis are saying that, the Israeli government say that they built this wall to keep out the Palestinian attackers from killing Israelis. And this wall started building in the early years of the 2000s. In the early years of the 21st century. And that it officially started building during the and we now have to lower the camera because the Israeli soldiers based here does not allow us to film. the Israeli government said the wall was built to keep Palestinian attackers from entering Israel and to kill people over there. The idea is out of security reasons, but actually 86% of the borderline was built inside Palestinian territory and actually deep inside the West Bank, which has given Israel an excuse to swallow up to 46% of the territory of the Palestinian territory. In some villages, half of the territory are cut into two parts. On the Israeli side, the Palestinians are given Israeli ID, but on the other side, the same group of people living on the same territory have nothing. And now we have passed the checkpoint. We have to lower the camera, and we could not give you the images because the Israeli Defense Forces did not allow us to film anything near the checkpoints and the separation walls. On the Israeli side. And now we will be meeting up with our staff in the Ramallah Bureau. Fatima, she will be telling us more about the stories on the other side of the wall. Hello guys, now we're inside Palestinian territory, and just now you've seen we've passed Qalandia checkpoint, and you can follow our camera to see from the Palestinian side what this checkpoint looks like. And also I'll be handing over the microphone to my colleague Fatima, and she will be telling you more about the walls, about the lives beyond the walls.
Thank you very much. Hi everybody, this is the Qalandia checkpoint that you've just gone through with us here with our crew. You've seen what it's like to come through this checkpoint. Let me tell you more about what it's like for the Palestinians to pass through this checkpoint, and more about the complex system that Israel has imposed on Palestinians, which the checkpoint is part of, as well as the separation wall that you can see here with us. This is the separation wall. The Palestinians call it annexation or apartheid wall. Israelis use the term separation or security barrier. They began constructing this wall the Israeli government in 2002 has begun constructing this wall. There were a series of suicide attacks or operations by Palestinians, so the Israeli authorities cited security reasons for building this wall. This wall is, as you see, 8 meters high cement wall, for the most part that is apparent for the Palestinians from within the West Bank, in addition to barbed fences and wires that the Palestinians will see from this side. Israeli authorities and the Israeli government said it's necessary to hold Palestinians from access into Israel proper, but also what Israel claims to be Israel proper is including East Jerusalem. East Jerusalem, that was occupied in 1967, is also part of the Palestinian city, or what the Palestinians want as their own city and their own capital for their future state. The wall in general was expected to follow the route of the internationally recognized Green Line, or the 1949 armistice line that was recognized by the UN since 1949. However, this line that resembles the 1967 borders and is the basis of the two-state solution is not followed through the track of this wall. The problem is, to many Palestinians, the problem is not the wall itself. The problem goes far beyond. The Green Line, which sets borders between the occupied territories in 1967 and the territories occupied in 1948, where the State of Israel was established, is only 320 kilometers long. But this wall, once completed, which it almost is, by the way, will be approximately 712 kilometers long. This means that it's double, that it's more than double the length and the area of the Green Line, the internationally recognized borders that are considered to be the basis of the two-state solution. This has drawn international attention, the attention of world powers and governments, and also many Palestinians. This has created the sound argument that the wall was not meant only for Israeli security reasons, as the Israeli authorities begun to say. In fact, specialists here are saying that 85% of the meandering route of this wall winds inside the West Bank. That is 85% of this wall generally is located inside the West Bank. Right here we are standing in one of the most striking and most clear examples of this. We are located north of Jerusalem, in between the Qalandia checkpoint. It's a military checkpoint that is isolating Jerusalem, East Jerusalem, and limits the access of Palestinians into it. In addition to its being the main entry point or access point between East Jerusalem and Ramallah city. Also to the left, it disconnects Ramallah city and East Jerusalem and the Qalandia refugee camp. From the other side, here to the left, where we see this military tower, what is behind it is also Palestinian lands that are part of East Jerusalem. There is access for Palestinians now to them from behind this wall, but in fact it is one of the areas that is ignored in terms of services by the Israeli government. Many here argue that in addition to its spiral and winding course that has led to its description as a snake, more often by even world leaders and politicians around the world, that the impact of this wall is far-reaching due to the buffer zone it is annexing. As you can see, this military tower, watchtower, in addition to 3 others that are located here in this corner, are seen every few kilometers by Palestinians from this side. Every few kilometers we would be able to see watchtowers like this. This is not the only form of control that the Israeli forces have established for Palestinians. It is one of many. For example, there are gates, there are barbed wires that limit the access of Palestinians into what is now Israel proper. Let's move forward and see more of what this 8-meter high wall looks like from the Palestinian side. Here at the Qalandia refugee camp, and right behind us is the Israeli military checkpoint, better known as Qalandia, due to its proximity to the refugee camp separating Ramallah and Al-Biri cities from East Jerusalem. Israel has enforced a military system on the access of Palestinians. The yellow plate cars that are passing through this route are going straight into the checkpoint for further checking. These are vehicles used by residents of Jerusalem who are already granted the residency card by the Israeli authorities. They live inside Jerusalem. They can be working here or coming to school, for example, in the West Bank, but they still have to go through those checkpoints. So Palestinians with residency cards or with Jerusalem ID cards are also bound to go through this wall and the control systems that control it, including Qalandia checkpoint, which is one of 4 main checkpoints around East Jerusalem, limiting the access of Palestinians, individuals and goods into East Jerusalem, which Palestinians want as their capital, as the capital for their future state. Israeli military forces are stationed in various spots over military towers like this, military watchtowers that we see every few kilometers, in addition to the surveillance cameras that are located either on walls or on watchtowers or on gates. The barbed wire gates that we see more likely when we drive up to the north of the West Bank, areas like Jenin, Qalandia, cities like Nablus, which is an important economic center in the West Bank. These gates and these cameras, as well as the barbed wires, less often allow access for Palestinians who would have to pass by either for work or for schooling, even for residents, or as they say, for social ties, including family visits or visits to friends. This is now more limited, more restricted. It is very difficult for Palestinians to see that happen. Many here would say that the busy life, in addition to the restrictions by this complex Israeli security system through which the wall is established, the military checkpoints are also part of, as well as the gates, has really impacted Palestinians socially very, very much. Sometimes it takes hours for Palestinians to go through those checkpoints. In many cases, we would see, when it's the rush hour for Palestinians, we would see hundreds of cars and vehicles trying to access through those points. Now we are back with my colleague here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you guys for staying with us. We were trying to tell you a bit more on the Israeli side, but we were told and even warned by the IDF soldiers that we were not allowed to get any closer to the wall from the Israeli side or to any other supporting elements of the separation wall. For example, you can see the barbed wires, the watchtowers, and also the roads downside on the Palestinian side. This road is wide enough for vehicles to get through, but these vehicles are only limited to the Israeli military forces. And back in 2004, the International Court of Justice has ruled it is illegal to build up a wall and has ordered Israel to dismantle it. But Israel has refused to do so and yet failed to do it. And with that, we are closing this episode of the live streaming. Thanks for staying with us.